Welcome to Working Class Frame Rate. I'm your co-host, Sway Adiano, here with my co-host,
Austin Cummings.
And today we are launching our new format, video format, which is fucking crazy.
Which is to initiate you with our horror extravaganza this
horror
month.
Marathon reviews, horror film extravaganza. I almost forgot the name of it.
The extravaganza.
Yeah, so
5
Austin,
films per 5 genre.
Dude, Austin has decided to take me on his little creepy, freaky adventures.
Dude, I put him through the ringer with this list.
Dude, I saw some of these and I had to question our friendship because...
Really? Like that bad?
I was just like, dude, what are you making me watch? I'm gonna be honest, the ones you got for the comedies do look really good. I'm excited to check those out.
I think you're gonna like those.
The psychological horror, definitely. I was just like, all right, bro, we gotta put you in this.
I just toughen you up a little bit, bro.
Somebody's gotta check your mental. We gotta make sure that sure you're okay.
Well, because I'm gonna be honest with this selection. I was like, I'm taking the training wheels off. I was like, I'm gonna give you some crazy shit.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys too. Austin has like an entire boot camp list for me that I have not
90 films on that.
I have not checked that out. It's way too it's a daunting
I made him a
film
catalog.
list. So I was honestly just really excited to check out movies that you had handpicked because I really do love your film taste.
Thank you.
And I this has kind of disappointed me so far, but
fuck you, bro.
No. It's
he would have been like,
exciting.
let's review all the Conjuring movies.
I got it. Yeah. Well, we're super excited. So if you're just tuning in right now, we have 4 weeks of horror movies, 4 different subgenres. First week is slasher. Second week is
psychological.
Third week is body horror, and fourth week is
horror comedies.
We're really, really excited. We have a lot of really good movies to talk about.
Really exciting ones. Very diverse ones too.
Also important to know, we haven't discussed our opinions. Austin actually called me up and was like, dude, what did you think? And I was like, I'm not going to tell you.
I got so impulsive, too.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when you told me, your logic, it was very sound.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie, in that moment, I was just like, I wanted immediate dopamine, and I wanted to learn what you thought.
Well, now's the time. And we're starting off the first week.
I'm excited.
We're starting off with slashers. And the first movie up on our list, we've got
The Burning.
The Burning.
There we go. 1981's The Burning.
1981, The Burning by Tony Maylam.
Yes.
Okay, I was reading a little bit on the Wikipedia, and it was saying that this was actually not received well when it came out.
No,
because a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it's just a Friday the 13th ripoff." Yeah, which in some respects, I see what they were talking about.
Yes. See, you know what's kind of funny though is you watch that first Friday the 13th, and a lot of those elements from the slasher films they talk about with the campsite, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
it's there.
Yeah,
but I actually feel like it's really codified in The Burning.
Okay. Let's give a little bit of a rundown for those of you guys who don't know. If you are watching our reviews, we highly recommend you check it out. So I did see The Burning I saw this on an illegal website. I don't know. I potentially saw it on an illegal website.
Yeah.
But you can actually watch it on Tubi. Shout out Tubi for all these free movies. But I'm going to read the synopsis real quick that is on Letterboxd. A caretaker at a summer camp is burned when a prank goes tragically wrong. After several years of intensive treatment at a hospital, he is released back into society, albeit missing some social skills, and that is stretching the word right there. What the fuck?
That's not just social skills, buddy.
What follows is a bloody killing spree with the caretaker making his way back to his old stomping grounds to confront one of the youths that accidentally burned him.
See, you know what's hilarious about this? This is you would only know this plot after you saw the movie.
Yes. I don't know why they're giving away a lot here. In this.
High key, I was gonna say, don't actually read this if you haven't seen it.
Well, yeah, if you're watching this review and you haven't watched The Burning, go watch The Burning. Come back to hear our discussions about it. All right, so off rip, what do you like about this movie? Do you like this movie?
I like it. I will say though, I completely felt my love for it kind of deflate this watch. And here's the thing though. I will say this. I think if you want the quintessential camp slasher, I do think Burning is kind of the best of that glut. And I also think for that era from 1980 to 1983, obviously if you're a horror fan, but for those that don't, the layman's, that was sort of the glut of American slashers that came out. It was a frenzy.
Gotcha.
And when I think of the template, I just feel like The Burning hits every single one and fairly competently, excuse me.
Yeah.
But do I think it's the best one or even the most entertaining or creative? No. I just sort of see it more as a marker historically now. And I think with this watch, it's sort of solidified it in my head as that.
I can understand people's affection for it. I walked away kind of disappointed. Some of the highlights for me in this movie, I feel like this movie shot a lot better than most slashers.
Yes.
I love some of the wide frames here.
Oh yeah.
It's really confident in its cinematography, and you could tell people that at least this director really cared about how it looked and how it felt, and it's a very warm movie for how dark it can get. Now, here my main problems with this movie is, dude, this movie is super rapey. Like it is, it's very, very. There is no such thing as consent in this movie, and it seems to be a problem with every single romantic encounter that happens in this movie. At some point, these girls, right? At some point, like whenever we're seeing like a connection between two people in this movie, they are at some point telling them no, and they consistently press on.
Say yes.
And I'm not surprised to see this in The Burning, because I don't know if you know who produced this.
Yes. Oh, I know the whole story. I was waiting for you to get to that.
Yeah, Harvey Weinstein produced The Burning, and you could tell. You could tell from all over this movie, because again, there's a lot of weird, non-consensual activities going on in this movie that I was not a fan of.
Yes. I will say, I'm not going to lie, and maybe it's just because I've seen a lot of films out of the genre out of that period. Yeah. I don't think it's unique, sadly, to this one. They're all kind of like that.
You know what? Yeah, you're right.
But I will say, this one is one of the more egregious, where it's like blatant. Where like some of the other ones kind of like try to skirt around it, but like this one is like very like, like very clear boundaries are being like violated.
And I do want to say it might be just a product of its time. Not that it makes it okay.
Oh,
you know,
it's very
obviously
80s.
a lot of the movies during this era, especially in slashers, don't take too kindly to their female characters. No, which is something that seems to be exception. Right. Seems to be reoccurring in a lot of slashers, including even in these in the movies that we're about to talk about. That a lot of women are used just as props to kind of like as a screen
in a way,
factor.
this was that era that solidified that. Right. Like, you know what I mean? That's why it's like kind of weird to look at it in retrospect and say that, because it's like you're correct. But at the time, because I think about in my head these little scenarios, I'm like, if I time traveled and I went back, like, what would people say? And I was like, the dark thought I had was like, I feel like most of the characters in this movie, that they would just sound like the guys in real life. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And you know what? Look, the comparisons to Friday the 13th, right? And I would say that what they do better here is I enjoyed more of the chemistry of these characters. These characters felt a little more real.
Very fleshed out. And it goes to the cast. You know why? Because to add to your point,
talk to me.
This stars Jason Alexander, Fisher Stevens, who was in Succession. And
oh, no way.
Yeah, I'll actually show you who it is exactly, because you're going to know.
Yeah.
But this has so many stars that would go on to like Seinfeld, Succession.
Holy shit.
All these things. Jason Alexander. I mean, the one you were talking about.
Yeah.
It's just like crazy, and I think a lot of that goes to their acting ability. Yeah, where it's like you could just see the talent pool, kind of.
Yeah,
and this is like this is when they're kids too, so that's what kind of impressed me. Wow. And to go into one of my positives, I was like really surprised by like how competent the performances are. I mean, sure, like in the context of like what you need out of like a teenager's performance
and out of a slasher,
right? But like even then, I was like, you know, like this is a way more effort than like most put in.
And you know what? That's why I was really intrigued when I was watching this movie, was the characters.
Yeah.
Like, and that's this is one of my gripes with the movie, is that the killer is this man who was burnt to a crisp that comes back like and he's fucked up, right?
Bro's air fried.
And you know, again, if you're watching this and you haven't seen it, watch it so we can discuss the spoilers.
Yeah.
But I do not like the fact that we don't get to see him until the very end. Yeah. It's only once teased, like,
especially because the makeup's really cool too.
Right.
It looks sick.
And you know, I wouldn't have minded if they had actually like teased little by little. That would have still worked for me. There was only like one or two teases, and there was like a little burnt part of his like forearm, which was just, it was like, it didn't give me anything to work with.
And the score for him is doing a lot of work, because it has a really sick synth score that, like, obviously if you know 80s and like horror movies and horror video games, like you'll hear it. Yeah. But I thought that was doing a lot of legwork in this movie, was that score.
I really love the way the camera moved when he was like about to attack. That was also really, really cool. And there was like a lens flare flare on that. And that was sick.
And the payoff of like the gore was good. Like I thought like surprisingly some of the buildup, like there's one specific sequence I really love where they're on a boat and like the killer's kind of laying flat in the boat.
That scene was cool.
Yeah,
that scene
was crazy.
Up
and he comes up and they like chopping fingers off and shit.
Right.
Like the way they constructed the setup, the payoff, and like the actual shots of the gore, I was like, this is really good. Like it's not bad. And that's why I kind of get where I felt the deflate come in, where I was like, yeah, you know, there's so many good elements and it's just kind of okay.
Right. No, and you know, even as we're talking about it, I feel myself liking it a little more.
It's not bad.
I'm appreciating the burning a little more as we're talking about it, just because, it is like, this is something I would throw on for like a camp of teenagers, you know, like, oh, like, hey, we want to watch a slasher. And I'm like
a good, like if
maybe not a camp of teenagers because I don't want to show them about,
I wouldn't show them the burning.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know about
that. For
me,
I was thinking like midnight movies. Like if I were to throw together like a trashy double feature, like the burning and then whatever slasher I pair with it.
Right,
you know?
right.
It's a good, because I was thinking of like marketing in my head, and I watched the old trailer for it and I was like, yeah, like if you're in like a New York grindhouse theater, like this would be a movie that would be playing like at midnight or something. You know?
No, and I, like you said about the gore is fantastic.
It's really good.
I do think that this doesn't show, because even like watching Friday the 13th, there's not that much gore in Friday the 13th.
It's kind of like, I'm gonna be real too, it's kind of held up by that Kevin Bacon shot. Like I feel like everyone who's like, dude, Freddy, what are you talking about? Friday the 13th won the gore. I'm like, you're talking about the Kevin Bacon shot, and like, that's kind of it.
Yeah, there's not much to go off. Whereas the burning holds on a lot of the gore, and
more consistent gore too. There's a couple sequences of people getting like mangled. Like,
this was a little bit brutal. Honestly, walking away, I think the burning is, I think due to our discussion, I feel like I'm walking away a little bit more appreciative of
good.
it. Yeah. It's fun.
Perfect,
it's fun.
Good.
And look, I don't really expect much when it comes to slashers. I want something entertaining. And I think my main takeaway too was also the killer. The killer, I never felt intrigued to follow his arc. And I think it is due in part to the fact that I didn't even get a tease. I really didn't know who he was.
You wanted a little
he was
more
just
of like some, like, to be tantalized a little
I
bit.
wanted to chew on something. I wanted to know what was like at least some slight motivation, something, you know.
Well, I mean, he
just
he
revenge.
get lit on fire.
Right.
To be fair, like the sequence of him on fire, because it's not like the
that
water
was a cool
is
scene.
Well, it's not like the water. I was thinking about it too. I was like, it's not like the water is like right next to them.
Yeah.
So it's like he actually has to run like, at least it feels like a mile. It might not be, but like the shot of him just continuously running, I was like, damn, like actually no, like I would come back and kill these people too.
That shit looked so good too.
Yeah,
the way that he was lit, the shack, and then the kid standing on the side,
and the shot of the head he wakes up to, and it falls onto the bed. Like it's really good. I love the music.
Yeah.
Like to me, this is like, if you want a really good like entry level slasher, you know, because I kind of look at slashers in the way like you look at like soap operas or like kind of, you know, like your soaps or just like kind of cheesy shit you like to watch. Like slashers to me are kind of like my soap operas. They're like, you know, I always know the formula. Most of them are not very good. Right. And I just think Burning is like a good template one where it's like, that's a good little, like, if I just needed one to be like, where's a good place to start? I'd hit the Burning.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't want to say Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Burning, I'm going to say it's cool. It's cool. I'm going to say it's cool. I don't really do ratings. What would you rate it?
For me, just a clean 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5.
Not terrible. Not amazing. Just really good.
All right. Burning. Shout out.
Shout out to the Burning.
Shout out to Burning.
Go to the doctor if you're burning.
Yeah.
For our next film, we're going to go into 1982's Pieces. I loved putting this on the list. I had to put this one on the list.
I'm reading the title here, which is the original title, I'm assuming. What is the director from? Is he French?
From his name, Juan, I don't know. Let me look. He is a Spanish director.
Okay, he's a Spanish director.
Oh, you know why? How? Because he also did another famous film called Slugs. That's another.
The name in Spanish says Mil gritos tienen la noche. Do you know what that means?
No.
So it says 1,000 cries have the night, which is such a hard title.
That's a hard title.
It's
very
so much better than
title.
Pieces. Like, that's so sick.
Yeah.
Look. Off rip, you know, we were talking just about in the one we just talked about, The Burning.
Yes.
About the violence towards women. This one is outrageous because I don't Does a man get killed in this movie at all? I don't really remember if there was a man that gets killed.
I don't think so, except for like I think the only guy who sustains any like physical injuries, like the final shot.
Yeah, the final shot.
That's
right,
it.
Right, I was about to say yeah, because this is outrageous and it's that's what I wrote down in my notes. I was just writing down that like. As I was venturing down into more slashers, like the violence directed at women is just, it's unbelievable.
This movie's a cartoon. Like this 100%. Movie has like no logic to it.
There's also so much frontal nudity. There's tits. The whole
every scene.
Runtime.
And also like it's so absurd because you have this chainsaw wielding maniac on a college campus doing these murders and like no one hears, like no one sees. And there's so many little bits in this too. My favorite one of them is being so the detective Bracken, I think is his name. He has like a cigar the whole movie that's not lit, and he keeps asking the other guy. He's like, "Do you have a light?" And he just keeps like uttering excuses. He's like, "I don't smoke. I don't have a light." Or there's one part where he's like, "I used to," and I'm like, "What is this fucking gag?"
Yeah,
like,
there's it is, now that you're mentioning it, is very comedic and
hilarious.
And you know what? Running back to the beginning, I would like to say that the beginning is so brutal. Yeah, I was like captivated immediately.
Really iconic.
You know, you got the kid opening up and just slashing his mother. And the way the blood splatters on the wall.
All over. Well, you see the axe hit her head.
Right. And I mean, I just love the blues. I love the way everything was looking. Like this whole movie looks fantastic. Yeah. The colors in here really, really stand out to me. And I mean, I thought that was such a great cold open for a movie. Yeah. It's phenomenal.
And the context of it is like almost like a cliche. Like it's literally like the son and then the evil mom comes in and is like, "Why are you putting together this nudie puzzle?"
Right, which is crazy. How did he get that fucking puzzle?
But what I love is that most movies, right, you would have like him be like, "No, mom, stop hitting me," or whatever. The way the camera subverts our expectations, when it turns back, the kid's not cowering. He swings an axe and hits his mom in the head with it. And what is probably one of the best gore shots of the entire film. Yeah. It's phenomenal. It's
definitely
great.
Took me off and I was like, oh, okay, this is how we're starting the movie. Yeah. Like, that's when I was like completely.
And it's gory. Like, I mean, even like a minute after that, it's followed by a woman just getting her head cut off by a chainsaw on the school grounds, like which is even funnier because there's a guy like doing work near her, like he's doing landscaping, and he somehow doesn't hear.
Yeah, dude, I also just loved there's a couple of fake outs where they had what sounded like a chainsaw, and then it's like the student who pulls up on the motorcycle. Yeah. And I felt like that was completely on purpose. That they definitely used like the chainsaw sound. Yeah. And then they had bro pull up with the motorcycle, and I was like, oh, that's a good fake out.
Oh yeah, and it's so trashy. And the Grindhouse releasing Blu-ray I have of it.
Okay.
Beautiful restoration. That might have been the same one Sean Baker was talking about on his letterbox, but yeah, it's really good. And it's funny because I think Burning actually, because this actually plays into Burning and why I chose that. I think Burning encapsulates the American slasher wave, but I think Pieces does the Italian one the best.
Interesting. Why do you say that?
Because I don't think it's like, before I continue, I don't think Pieces is like the best movie.
Sure.
But I think for that time period of sleaze, gore, memorability, creativity, because this is one of those films that like, when I hear a lot of people talk about like the Grindhouse era, you see those like clip compilations of like horror movies from the 80s, you always see Pieces in it. And a lot of people don't know it's Pieces, which is funny. But that elevator scene with the chainsaw, I just think it's one of the all-time greats. It's like an hour 20, it's gory, very outdated though. You say about the way it treats women. Yes.
One of the most iconic, I think, in my mind, shots and scenes is the kill on the waterbed. That kill is so fucking good.
Great.
Just because the way that they do it in slow motion, the puncturing of the waterbed, turning it into a puddle of blood as she's like crawling for. I thought that scene was so fucking cool. Also, the killer just. The way that he was moving, it honestly left me captivated each time. Yeah. And there was also a buildup towards like, we would never, actually, I scratched that. There was not really a buildup. It would just kind of happen.
It would.
And there was no real, whenever we get to the scenes, I think the only one that sort of built up was the pool scene where she was just kind of looking back. That was like the only scene that kind of built.
Yeah, and you see his shadow, his figure past like the window pane looking out the door.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think they did a very good. They set up this movie to have tension throughout the whole movie.
If you can call it tension.
Right. Exactly.
Like that's what's funny is you're calling it tension, but I was like, I just feel like this movie's like, and I say schlock lovingly. It's just like you gave someone a budget and they were like, what's the trashiest shit I can put out? It's like, it's this movie.
Oh yeah.
And I love how cliched it is. It's like cliched weapons, guy in all black is the killer. Like every character has like one thing to them. One has boobs. One smokes weed and has boobs, and then one is a guy, and like that's the characters. Yeah, it's funny as hell. I love it.
I definitely, even the mere concept of like breaking apart, or even how he keeps the corpse in his room and just like that whole part of the movie definitely like just kind of fucked with me because I was just like, wow, this is like. I was trying to understand like a deeper message or a deeper meaning, but I'm like,
with pieces.
I think this guy just hates women. Like, I
no,
don't know,
that's what I'm saying. It's it's just a spiteful, trashy movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's just. But you know what's funny is it's like it's almost as if like the movie is like a spoof of that. Like, it almost feels so grotesque in its intentions that it's like it almost becomes parody. Like if you were to tell me like he was trying to make a parody of slashers at the time and the misogyny, I'd kind of think it's a masterpiece. Like it's kind of funny because because here it's at least humorous. I've seen films like Fulci's, like if you've seen Lucio Fulci's New York Ripper, it's that same level of gore and violence, but it's not played humorously.
Interesting.
Which is weird because you think like this is serious, but you watch like New York Ripper and it's like imagine this but like less endearing.
God, that does not sound appealing at all.
No, it's like debilitatingly evil.
Yeah, main takeaways from this movie. Would I watch this again? I think I would watch this again. Yeah, this is definitely a good time, and it also just looks really good. That's what I'm taking away. Some of the slashers from back in the day that I've seen they're okay, they're fun. Yeah, but they don't look the best. The lighting's not the best. Like
you can tell it's made by the producer and not a filmmaker.
Right, and this one actually feels it looks really nice. And the kills are great.
It's competent.
There's a lot of exciting moments.
Great
and
twist.
I will say that the climax is really
fun,
super good.
Yeah,
and I mean I saw it coming where he wasn't really like dead. Yeah.
Well, and then they have that stupid fucking guy the whole movie with a beard who's like the landscaping guy, and they make him like utterly like boorish. He's just like yeah, and they try to be like.
For a long time, I was trying, throughout the movie, I was trying to figure out who the killer was.
Yeah,
and I mean, I honestly, I definitely didn't know who it was. Like I never got
fair. I didn't know who it was, but it's like he was acting so exaggerated that I was just like, okay, I know it's not him though. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
so I was thinking like, okay, this guy is acting a little suspicious, but I was like, so he's probably not the killer. But what if he's acting suspicious? And they're fucking with me. They're like, it's a fake out. Like he's acting suspicious, so I'm not going to suspect him because I am suspecting him. But I was doing too much.
You're reading way too into it.
I was
like
doing
with
too much jumping.
like some of these like pieces, I'm just like I go into it like my brain is mush. Yeah. Like there's no thoughts in this.
Yeah, if I were to recommend a slasher, I definitely would recommend Pieces.
This is a great group film too. Like if you have buddies and you like to watch horror movies together, Pieces is phenomenal for that setting.
Yeah, Pieces. I would say. I love Pieces. Pieces was a great time. I
love Pieces. I give it. I'm gonna be real. This is a solid 4. I love Pieces.
I would agree with you. I
love it. It's just great. It's just fun, and it's a breeze. Simple pace.
Hour and 20 minutes.
Hour barely even. Dude, honestly, it feels like 10 minutes to me. That movie.
Movie flies by.
Pieces. Recommend.
Yeah. All right, next up we got Blood and Black Lace. Black Lace. Who's directing this movie?
Mario Bava. Mario Bava.
Mario Bava. 1964.
Yes, sir.
Wait, actually, now that I'm looking at 1964 and it looks that good.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And it's that violent too.
Yes. I have on my notes right here. It's gorgeous in its colors. The lighting is astounding. The lighting was so good.
And that jazz score. That jazz score is delectable. I love it.
Dude, every time the score played, I was just...
it's delicious.
Like, that clip. Like, these cats are cooking. These cats are cooking. What I really loved about this movie was how fast the killer moves. The killer moves so fucking fast
and aggressive.
Yes, like I was like shocked because you know sometimes they'll do like the slow walk, and I guess there's a point to it because sometimes the killers will slow walk just to linger out the
build
fear.
that tension.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But this dude was on a fucking mission. He was just like sprinting for his victims. And I thought that was crazy. I don't know. It was incredible, honestly.
To what you were saying though, yes, I agree, and that's one of the things I actually adore about this film is I love how palpable the stakes are and the consequences.
Yes,
like it actually feels like when this killer enters the room, there's a potential that you are going to get harmed, and not in a way that's like. I don't know. I feel like so many slasher films like orchestrate the tension where it's like, oh, POV shot, and the music kind of like rambunctiously heightens it up. But this is like they don't even need to. I mean, the music's obviously adding to the tension, but just the pace of the killer alone, they don't even need to because you just see him bolting, and like there's an immediacy to it that I just appreciate. And I think even in modern films I don't see much. Yeah. So for Mario Bava to do it in 64 is crazy.
Yeah, I have written down here the frames are so delicately chosen and lit to perfection.
The way the camera moves.
Yes. I was like licking my fingers after every shot. It's stunning. Everything looks so
slick
like,
pans.
For 1964, it's actually incredible. And there's so much to love here. The story itself was also interesting. I think it gets a little bit sloppy towards the end.
Very end, yeah.
Just the way that things twist and turn, and just like finding out who the killer/killers are. Yeah, I found that to be like, I mean, maybe for the time it was like very ahead of its time, but I guess I've seen the whole two killers bit.
Well, I kind of liked it too because we don't get to see the killer like betray the other one, which I kind of liked, and I liked how they did it too, where it was like he set her up with the murder. Oh, someone showed up, and it's like he called them, and I kind of liked that little play where you see them kind of trying to like navigate around each other. And also I wanted to add two specific points. I love the setting of the fashion house. Yeah. The set design. Yes. There's like materials everywhere. It's just opulent. I love how this film looks. Dude, it's even so pretty.
Shot where we're at like
the red mannequin and the black hair wig on it.
I'm telling you, it's just the colors. The colors in this movie in particular. I think between this one and Tenebre, both of them are just absolutely stunning in its colors and the way that everything looks. And I think this is something that I take away from slashers too. And I wrote down here, the story itself was interesting to keep me going, but I didn't really give a fuck because I was just so in love with the frames. I was so in love with the score and everything that I was visually seeing that like, even though the story itself, like it was okay. Like I was keeping along with the mystery. Yeah. I didn't really care. I was just like in love with watching the colors and the frames and the lighting, as well as the killer sprinting and the score. Like there's so much to adore that the story, even though it is like okay for me, I was just in love with everything happening.
Yeah, no, I really love the look of the villain too with the mask and how it defines the face, and the scene in particular.
It's so simple too. It's not the killer's not really dressed up in anything crazy.
It almost looks like, do you remember the Spy versus Spy comic?
What is that?
Oh, it was like a character dressed exactly the same. It's like black clothes, white face, but it was like the same exact look. I was like thinking,
shit.
Like,
yeah, I know what
Spy
you're
versus
talking
Spy.
Yes,
yeah,
of course.
I was like, that was it's funny. I was like, dude, why is this reminding me of Spy?
You know what? I thought about it too. I was like, this design looks very familiar. I just couldn't pin it down, but you're right. Yeah, 100%.
And the scene in specific, I really wanted to talk about. There's this one murder sequence with a spiked glove that slams into a woman's face. The way this scene is shot and the sound design. There's a character named Frank, and he invites over one of the leading ladies in the film to basically sort of discuss something. It's like a mystery. But as we find out in the sequence, she's about to get murdered. It was actually a setup. Yeah. This sequence, the way the camera moves, and there's like a flashing light. It's like green. It flashes alongside the room, and then it goes black.
Oh my god!
And then when it comes back, the character's gone.
Yes.
And the way the camera moves, the tension and the timing of the lighting is just, I felt my skin crawling. And the way she was slowly creeping in the room, it's quiet. There's like a fire lighting the room. Yeah. Well done. Just great suspense. And it's so eerie. And the way the scene pays off is
the green, the way that it looks too, just like,
and the way the sort of killer
in a way, yeah.
Yes, and the way the killer sort of like melds with the background too, because there's so many materials laying around that the person just looks like a sort of wall of materials, and then you don't notice they're gone until the light flashes again.
Right.
beautiful, like great setup and payoff. But the way the scene ends where the killer puts on a spiked glove and slams it into the girl's face, you don't see it. You see it go over the shoulder and the camera's on the back, and there's a great sound design where you hear that crunch. And then the way the camera pulls back and you see the killer do this is flawless. It's such good directing. And it's funny because like a lot of films of this era would not have gotten that attention to detail because, you know, a lot of producers were like, oh, it's exploitation films. We need to throw something in the drive-in. And the fact that like Mario Bava, even Argento, all these directors putting so much craft into these like sleazy little horror movies.
And you said this is the first of its kind. What were you
kind of. It's basically, so the giallo genre in Italy was like these mystery movies that were very gory, a lot of nudity. And I guess, I mean, to be fair, this is factually, I don't know if this is literally the first one, but this was the one that essentially like deified the genre in the annals of history and made it like marketable and popular.
Explain to our audience what a giallo movie is.
So in Italy in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, I think it kind of went into the 90s too. There's some Argento there. They're basically these like mystery films that, you know, sort of incorporate a lot of repeating elements, like a masked killer or, you know, a killer that's off screen. There's usually a mystery. There's some sort of outer element involved in the mystery, like specifically like in Tenebre, there's a writer, or in Blood and Black Lace, it's a fashion house and they're trying to figure out a murder, you know, so they all sort of have these templates for these mysteries. And in between these mysteries, there's these great gore sequences usually. And Argento and Bava, I would say, are sort of like the kingmakers of this genre. But yeah, and Bava, especially with this one, not Black Sabbath, because he's made a couple movies I loved, but the one he made in the 70s called Bay of Blood as well is also a really fantastic one.
Wow.
Yeah, really good stuff. But Blood and Black Lace too. I just, man, the music and, you know, I love how streamlined the story is. It doesn't linger. Right. It doesn't really give you characterization you don't need, kind of.
It's another short film too. Running at 88 minutes.
88 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, it's almost
clean.
An hour and 30 minutes.
It's the cleanest 88 minutes you'll ever feel. I felt like by the end of it, I was like, are we already at the end? And I was like, bro, I feel like I just started this.
No,
like,
it's crazy. It flies by. And honestly, I kind of was wishing for more. I was like, dude, I was settling into this world. It's so...
No, I wrote a note. The pacing is the antithesis to the process of stagnation.
Oh my God, yeah.
I wrote that.
Yeah, Blood and Black Lace, I can't recommend enough. This is one of my favorites from the slashes that we've been picking, or that Austin picked. Blood and Black Lace, 1964.
Yes.
Mario Bava. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I loved it. What did you think?
Clean 5 stars.
Clean 5
stars.
Blood and Black Lace.
Classic. It's a masterpiece.
100%.
Watch it.
Next one we got on the list is Tenebre. I'm super fucking excited to talk about this.
Yes.
Tenebre 1982. Dario Argento. What do you think about it? Let's...
Dude, this is his magnum opus.
You think it's his magnum opus?
Yes. Oh, this is easily his best film.
You know, I've got to get through some of the other ones that he's got. I still haven't seen Inferno or Phenomena. But
yeah,
holy,
this is better than those. This is better than Bird with Crystal Plumage.
Better than Suspiria?
Better than Suspiria.
Interesting.
Better than... Oh, yeah, I literally wrote a note saying probably the only Argento characters that feel fleshed out.
Dude, this movie was so fucking good.
Really good.
I wrote down the opening sequence and the opening song for this movie. It sounds like it was repeating murder. I'm sure it's not, but I just kept hearing murder when it started. And also the music is very joyous. It felt very like upbeat, like happy, go lucky, you know?
See, that's funny you're talking about the music. You know what I was thinking of? The camera work in this. There's so many unbroken shots of it sort of panning a wide around the entire house and then going back in. Yeah. That's why, in my opinion, I think it's also Argento's best. I think technically it's for sure his most ambitious, and I just think it's his most technically well crafted.
Yes. I would like to say here, there's a shot in here. The shot of her eyes as her throat was sliced. I believe that was so fucking
also, there's
crazy.
Another eye shot, the red one, where remember when it's like it almost looks like it's like an iris opening. It's like all red.
Shit. Yeah,
you see the eye.
Oh my God.
Beautiful.
There's so many good shots in this movie. And of course, you know, we're not even getting into the colors. Like everything looks fucking incredible. I also have written down the night shots and everything that was shot during the night. It looks so good. I was like, night. I wrote down in my notes, night has never looked so nice. Good. It looks so good. I couldn't believe it. I was in love, and I was like, I think everything for Dario Argento was starting to click with me with this movie in particular. I didn't care about the ADR. I didn't care about everything. And also, funny note, you should tell our audience about the ADR and what happens with a lot of these movies.
The stupidest fucking thing you've ever heard
let them know. Talk to us.
Yeah. So in specifically, I think it's specifically just Italy. I don't know about the rest of Europe. But there was this practice back then where, so basically they had international casts.
Yeah.
So you'd have like, say your main character's from America, your supporting character's from Germany, the actress is from Denmark, right? So they would record with no audio. Film it. Imagine this on set. There's no audio guy. No audio. And what they would do is, after shooting a functionally a silent film, they would go in after and dub it for each market. So it would be flat Italian, flat English, flat German, and it's funny because if you look at all their mouths, you can tell some of them are not speaking that language.
Yeah.
But they all speak that same language in the dub.
Wow. Yeah, it's definitely, it feels like it's doing a lot. Like, I don't understand why you jump into those
Well, you know what's funny is like American film, I mean, not even just American film had conquered this. Like, there's plenty of films from that period where you have people of all different nationalities in the same film. I don't know why the Italians were like, no, we can't have them sound different. They have to just sound the same.
And I mean, somehow they pulled it off. I think in Tenebre, I don't know how many of them were of different
I think it's just more, well, I think it's also just less egregious in this one.
Yes. Yeah. It feels a lot more natural.
Yes.
And I think that pays off for the performances too. You can tell there's a lot more chemistry in this movie.
The main character, Peter Neal, is also my favorite Argento character. Because I really love that he frames the story around a writer.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting because it lends to that creativity because
it feels meta.
It does. It's very. It feels very much like Argento talking about like him as a director, and it kind of feels like he thinks he's crazy. He's like, dude, am I just this guy who's just like low key a degenerate? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and I kind of liked that sort of like introspective angle to it.
Yeah, and listen, we're about to get into spoilers, so if you haven't seen Tenebre, you have to watch Tenebre. Tenebre is probably my favorite out of these slashers, so if you have not seen Tenebre, watch Tenebre.
Fair.
We're gonna dive into some of the spoilers here. Spoiler warning, 3, 2, 1. I love that it was him as the killer. I love it that being the author being
well, you know what's
killer.
funny is like this is why I love the script too, because when you kind of piece it together, it only leads to him.
Right. I was starting to think too, I was like, no way. Like the movie was so deceptive in the way that it frames it and the way that it writes it. Because I was like, dude, no way it could be that. I was going back to the same thing with what's the movie that I was telling you about with Pieces and about how silly the janitor was. And I was like, it was a Stephen, he was like, he's acting too silly, so he's gotta be the killer. But that's what the movie wants me to think. And, but this is a movie where I really, same problem was like, I was like, no way it's the author, right? Like, like that would be too obvious, but it's not. It's not. It's really not. It works. I was like, oh, okay, of course.
Because if you think about it, like with all they talk about the violence in his book and like his history, and then there's this flashback that you kind of start to piece together where like this woman humiliated him as a kid, and then there's a well shot sequence where he gets his revenge. But I love that POV, the way it's framed, but. Yeah, and it's sort of how it all comes together, and I love that final 10 minutes where it's like madness when they're just in that house and it's raining, and then the spike goes through him, and it's like mayhem. It's such a madhouse, but in the best way.
Also, the house of his house is beautiful. I wrote down right here the interior of the house of the killer is so nice. Bro is living lavish. And I also wrote down there's a specific shot towards the end. The red all over the white tiles and the white that was
great.
Like, I was like,
I actually wrote that. I wrote the use of color is dynamic and fascinating.
Yes, and you know what I was thinking too? And I don't know if there's like a direct influence. I'm sure there's already been like blood on white done before. I'm not too sure. But I thought about Django Unchained and just the shot of the slave owner being shot and the blood splattering over the white roses.
I mean, Tarantino loves Argento, so
that would make perfect sense. But I just loved the way that the colors bounced off of each other, and again, the camera work was fantastic.
And speaking, by the way, gore. Phenomenal.
Yes.
But also, we were talking about great camera work, and there's a gore scene that has one of my favorite shots in it. I sent you a text of it, actually.
Oh, really?
It's when the woman has the shirt going over her head, and the guy cuts the shirt, and there's like a hole in the shirt.
Yes,
and it shows her reaction through the hole.
Good God.
I would have never conceived of that frame.
Yes.
So the fact that he conceptualized that and shot it in a way that wasn't like clunky, it really impressed me.
This really feels like he put his all into this movie. You could feel it. Yeah. Also, I would like to say the chase with the dog.
Dude, that's so funny you say that.
I love that scene so much.
My note literally says, what the fuck was wrong with the dog?
Right. I put down in my notes, the dog is terrifying in this movie. And he wanted all the smoke. He
follows this woman all the way to her house. And by the way, he almost kills her. That's what's funny is this dog almost secures a kill in the film.
Fucking crazy.
It's just like to set up the actual
straight
kill.
To the killer's house, which is fucking crazy.
And that's also another thing I really love too, is that leads into one of my other favorite fake outs is like his relationship with that newscast or the guy he did like the morning show with.
Right.
And he's like, oh, he's the killer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And which is another sort of false flag, but I liked that whole bit as well. Also too, I want to say, I was thinking because I was like, because there is an Argento fall off. One day we'll do the 1995 Stendhal syndrome. One of the worst movies I've ever seen. But
that's not what some of my mutuals say. But
that's fine. They're wrong. Yeah. But I was gonna say no, I'm kidding. But I was gonna say the Tenebre is very much his last like really good swing.
Interesting.
Before and some say Opera was, which is 88, which is years later after this. But
yes.
I still think Tenebre is way better.
Opera is really good. I think Opera is really good.
But it's not Tenebre.
It's not Tenebre. It's definitely not Tenebre. I remember watching Opera, and that was my introduction into Argento. And it's so crazy because he did Dark Glasses. That was 2022. I forget he's alive.
I forget he's like Francis Ford Coppola, where like you forget that they have like movies from like 2012, and like you've just never heard of them. Like,
yeah, this is crazy. I need to watch Dark Glasses because I mean either way, despite that, it's crazy that Argento is still alive and is still making movies. That is I love to see a director just continue to go.
He has a great and his run like Bird from the Crystal Plumage, Inferno, Deep Red, Phenomenal, I forgot about Cat o' Nine Tails, Four Flies on Grey Velvet. That run from like 71 to 82 with Tenebre is like legendary. Like his 10-year run is like amazing.
Yeah, man. I again to emphasize on the point of Tenebre, I think that the ending is fantastic. You know, I'm usually not one for like these fake outs and like the dragged out endings, but I don't even feel like it's dragged out. Everything feels earned in this ending. Yes,
and it adds to it. I actually love the way Peter Neal dies, where like he accidentally sends a spike through him.
Yes.
And that's also another thing too. There's a running gag I've noticed in Giallos where someone dies not by someone. It's either by accident or just some accident due to an exterior environment, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah, and this one being the actual killer.
The actual killer.
Ending up just dead.
And it's pretty like, I was thinking like some of the gore scenes too are like really sadistic. Like the way, and also they do this thing where it's kind of funny because it reminded me of Mario Bava's film Black Sabbath, where he does this like little like I almost said a Playboy Cardi voice, but like he does this little like squeaker voice where he's like, I thought I'm killed, like. and I don't know why. I've seen that in a couple of these Giallo films now. Like New York Ripper, we were talking about earlier. Yeah. He actually does a duck noise. He actually goes quack quack. He does that.
What the fuck? Yeah.
But there was just like weird little details. I love those little Argento quirks where you're like, it's kind of stupid. What? Like,
dude, it feels like it's a fun movie. Despite everything, like it is fun. It's so much fun to watch. But this one, on top of it being fun, is just beautiful to look at.
And quick shout out, John Saxon is in this film.
Oh.
His guy from Rome, the guy who was his publisher. He was in Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee, and he's also he was like a
dude. He's in Black
he's the dad
Christmas.
In Nightmare on Elm Street. The cop dad.
He's in Nightmare on Elm Street from Dusk Till Dawn. Black Christmas, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, one of the best ones.
That's right. Yeah, so he had a good run.
He's also in New Nightmare, which is crazy.
And I think it's wild he's in Tenebre because it's funny because he showed up in this, and I was like, oh yeah, I forget John Saxon.
Dude, he's also in Beverly Hills Cop 3.
Yeah, dude,
one of his best works.
Actors were just acting, bro. Like they were like, give me a paycheck.
Shout out.
But yeah, crazy. We love Tenebre. This is a phenomenal
Tenebre
movie.
This is one of my favorite of the slashers that we've been watching. If you haven't seen, watch Tenebre. Highly recommend.
Yeah, clean 5.
The final slasher we got is
Maniac, 1981.
1980 is what I'm reading.
Oh, it's 80?
Right? Is it 80? Is
Whoops.
Yeah.
Either way, it was 1980. The best of that year.
William Lustig. Or Lustig. Sorry, Lustig.
Yes,
Sorry,
with famously Joe Spinell, who was in Godfather Part 2. Yeah. He's in a couple films.
Okay, so the actor, the killer.
He's the famous one here.
Yes, so his name is Joe Spinell.
Yes.
And he actually helped write this movie and is actually an executive producer for this. And a fun fact here, which is not so much of a fun fact, but he was actually writing and preparing for Maniac, or is it Maniac? What is
Maniac.
It? Maniac. He was actually writing Maniac.
You know how to pronounce that word? You fuck.
Yeah, Maniac.
Trying to be like Maniac?
Like Maniac?
Maniac? That brand new.
Yeah, I had a brain fire, bro, okay? Dude, he was writing Maniac 2, and he unfortunately passed before he can get to that. That's what I was reading. Yes, 100%. Yeah,
that actually bums me out.
So there is actually on his Letterboxd, you could actually see that Maniac 2, Mr. Robbie, was in production, and there's actually a short. It's 5 minutes.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, so
I mean, makes sense because, like, you know, there's a lot of like detail in this movie. Like this is what I mean. Oh, he was also in Cruising. I forgot about that. And Sorcerer, Taxi Driver.
Yeah. So if you don't know, Joe Spinell's actually was he's a very famous actor, or at least was a famous actor.
Like every big movie.
Right. So he was in The Godfather, Taxi Driver, Godfather Part 2, Rocky 2, Sorcerer.
Cruising.
Dude, this is
in 9 Configuration. Damn.
Dude, yeah, he has a catalog. And then right in between all those classic movies, he's got Maniac. Yeah.
Which is fair that it's next to Cruising because, like, they're kind of similar core.
Interesting. I've never seen Cruising. What is Cruising about?
It's about a serial killer. But not as... Actually, no, it's grime, but but Al Pacino plays the detective.
Yes.
And it's a notorious film because there was like 40 minutes of leather bar sequences, like BDSM, gay BDSM on screen cut out.
My God.
Which, fuck you. But, you know, bring it back. But anyway, Maniac.
Yeah.
I actually love this movie. He doesn't love this movie.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the movie. I don't really see myself feeling a need to come back to this movie.
Fair.
But I will say that there's something that stood out about this movie to me, is that this movie doesn't shy away from cutting away from the violence. It sticks on the violence, and it makes it way more disturbing. And of course, him going back to his room with the scalps and his dolls, it is
murmuring to himself, like
he is such an insane man, and I think he plays an insane man so well, especially how he's able to switch between personas, and he does it so effortlessly.
Well, and I think you know what I love about the performance, and I think Joe Spinell, and I really do think my love for it, a lot of it comes from Joe Spinell, is I think there's a real curated realism to his evil in this movie, where it's because, and strange note, I'm gonna add this context. I've been working at Starbucks for the past 2 years, and obviously where the street I'm on, where I work, there's a lot of homeless people with extreme instances of mental illness.
Yeah.
And I noticed watching this time with him, the way he talks to himself and how he just kind of like lingers and murmurs and just sort of nails these scalps to the mannequins really startled me, because I was like, ooh, like that kind of reminds me of the accuracy of the mental illness, where it sort of coexists with him, where there's moments in the film where he's very functional, he's talking to people,
right? But
when he's alone, you start to realize, like, oh, he's just barely kind of holding it together, and he's 100%. He's very detached. And I guess that added realism, and my experience with dealing with people who struggle with that on very extreme levels really added that layer to it that disturbed me, because I didn't see him anymore as like just a serial killer. I was like, this is a very like disturbed individual.
Yeah, you know? I wrote down mommy issues killer. Always got to be a man with mommy issues.
Very much.
Which I found to be so funny, which is kind of why I rolled my eyes. But I'm sure at the time, like, this was kind of like, whoa, this is deep.
Well, because like the 80s New York setting and how grimy it is, and like that score, that like very
the
dark,
score is crazy.
Creepy.
Yeah, it
even
works
that
so
opening
effectively.
Sequence where he like kills someone, and he gives this like blood curdling scream when he wakes up that like really upset me. Actually, I was like, ooh, and I guess like that's where my love of this film comes from. Is like I don't think it's like a fun movie. Like it's not one I throw on every day. But I think for like,
it is very dark.
But for like
it's very
disturbing
dark.
character studies and gory serial killer movies, and the way it sort of synthesizes those two.
Yeah.
It's like it's built for me. I love this kind of shit.
You know, this is
scary.
If you're into fucked up shit, this is definitely right up the alley for you. I have right here that this is definitely one of the more openly violent slashers I've seen from the past. It is not. At times, it does feel like what are those movies? Like what are those movies called? Like it feels like a snuff film at times.
Well, it feels like that's what I'm saying, and like also like. The way he adds that performance I was talking about to those scenes, like the most haunting scene in this movie, and it's one line delivery. And he kills this woman in a hotel room. He chokes her to death. And by the way, you get the ugliest shot of a man's face I've ever seen in a film.
Yeah, that scene itself was like very like if you disturbing. Actually wanted, I did not. I felt uncomfortable. I wanted to turn it off. I was like, "Fuck this shit, dude."
But he comes out from the bathroom after killing her, and he's like taking his like box cutter out to cut her scalp out. But there's this line he says, and he says it like really like in a creepy way. He's just like I don't want to do that. Like he does this like mommy thing, but like it actually sounds like unhinged.
Right,
like,
right.
And the way he's like pulling the box cutter out as he's crying, like it really got under my skin. And like even I was watching this with my girlfriend. I know I subjected my girlfriend to this because I said I needed to watch this.
Boyfriend of the year.
I know, man of the year. But I was gonna say, like even we both went quiet. We were just like, ooh, like that scene was actually like scary.
One of my favorite scenes and one of my favorite kills was definitely the first one in the subway. That whole bathroom, the bathroom sequence was fucking crazy.
Are you talking about the nurse?
Yes.
That's not the first
one.
No,
not the first. It's not the first one?
That's like later in the movie.
Oh, okay, word.
But I know what you're talking about with the bayonet.
Is it the subway? No? Is that the subway?
It is in the subway.
Gotcha.
But it's later in the film.
Oh,
you have the scene right. It's just later.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Because the first one is on the beach.
I just love the way the tension was built and just how she was like staying quiet in the bathroom. And I knew for a fact he was still there. But even then, like she comes out and for a second I was like, okay, maybe he's not there.
Like, kind of. Maybe.
I actually started to believe that maybe he wasn't there. Yeah. And it got me. I was like, fuck, of course he's there. Of course he's there. And that kill was violent.
And the bayonet. And one of my favorite one, and it's the iconic one. It's the head getting blasted off, and it's Tom Savini.
Oh, that's right. The car sequence, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
dude! And it's funny. That's the makeup artist, Tom Savini, getting his head blown off, which is funny. It's his makeup.
That's so sick.
Yeah. So I thought that's why I also thought it was funny. I was like, like he blew his own head up, but that scene is really creepy, and the way he's like looking in the window. I just think like that's what I mean by like Joe Spinell. It's like. On the surface, it's not a unique movie.
Yeah.
But I think his performance and specifically the 80s New York setting, I think really make this special. Because you were talking about that bathroom in the subway. And you know what I think is grossest about that scene? It's not just the murder. But when she looks out the door, and you get a shot of like what the bathroom looks like. And it looks like a trap house. Like it's fucked up. And
everything in this movie
looks
does
gross. His room with all the mannequins.
Up until towards the end of the movie, though, where he's like hanging out with this like photographer, right?
Yeah.
And he has like it is sort of like a friendship leaning more into a romantic relationship.
It's like the most normal he is in the movie.
Right. No, that's what I was so shocked at. And I was like, oh, this is very interesting because a lot of psychopaths and a lot of killers oftentimes are just normal people. Well, they don't at least they play like it, you know.
Well, but that's what I mean about like the mental illness. It wasn't like every second he's awake, he's like, I'm crazy. Yeah. It's realistic. Like, there's times where he locks in, and then there's times where he doesn't lock in, and the times he doesn't lock in are scary. Like,
yeah. Did you know that there's an Elijah Wood remake of this movie from 2012? I've actually never seen it. I've never seen it either.
I don't want to see it.
I don't want to see it either. I don't think it's going to be good, but I'm very intrigued to see what an Elijah Wood Maniac movie would look like.
It's POV too.
Oh shit!
It's all from his perspective. If I remember correctly.
Yeah. I felt like that was such an interesting. Yeah,
maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe one day.
But I just think Maniac is like a cut above a lot of the grindhouse coming out of the time. I just think you can tell there's a vision behind it.
And it's a very stinky movie.
It's a stinky movie, and you know what? It does what I love. It commits.
Yeah, it does commit. It commits. And I think there's clearly a lot of passion in this movie as it was being made. Again, like Joe Spinell writing the movie, helping executive produce it, and he does deliver such a fantastic performance here.
It's great.
It is unnerving. It's unnerving.
It's actually scary.
It's probably one of it sits up there with one of my favorite performances in a horror film, at least in a slasher for sure,
dude. And like I love and some of my favorite sequences of developing this tension is like him just sitting in his house. Like there's I was about to say gag. It's not a gag. It's like one of his like, I guess like modus operandi, like killer patterns is he takes the scalps and he puts them on the mannequins. And he talks to them like they're real women, like they're people he lives with.
Doesn't he cry to them too?
Yes. Like he like one of there's a scene where one he puts on him and he
has like a relation. It's not even like it's never. I think there might have been 1 or 2 times where it got sexual, but it was almost like never sexual. It was literally just all like a release of emotions. Yeah. It was horrifying.
Those scenes, and you see like trash around his house. He's got like guns and knives. It's like, it's really like scary. And I think to me, it's like, I think about like mental health in America, right? And how we don't fucking like take care of that shit. Yeah. And I was thinking about like that same thing where I'm like, there's a house out there with a guy sitting in there like this.
God,
and
I don't
even
like, want to think about
I know,
that.
right?
That's crazy.
And that's why I think this film is just so powerful to me, is like that there's that realistic core to it that I think like even Burning, like a lot of slashers get fantastical, like, oh, it's colorful, it's blah blah. This is like, no, this is like just a real guy like running around killing people.
It's
like,
fucking crazy, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And iconic poster. I have a shirt of it. It's great.
The ending with him just crying, "Mommy, mommy," which is such an insane. Like I just.
I find when the mannequins come alive and tear his head off.
Yes. Dude, what a fucking ending. I still don't feel like he got the ending he deserved, even though it's still very brutal. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I felt like this guy needed to die worse, if that makes sense. I mean, it's a pretty horrific ending, don't get me wrong.
I mean, it's like, I don't even know. It's like, is he even conscious of half these decisions? It's like, because that's what I was getting to, is like, he's so lost in his sauce. Because like when there's a shot where he's strangling the woman on the bed, the scene that made you uncomfortable, and it shows like, I don't remember, is it his mom or I don't know who it is, but like it's another woman on the bed, like he's fantasizing. Yeah. So there's a part of me that's like, does he even fully fucking know what he's doing? Like I don't know. Like that's what made it so unhinged.
What do you think about the ending? Do you think that he killed himself or?
I think he did kill himself or like something like that. Like I think like that was the break from reality, and like he just kind of like either killed himself or like, I don't know, like disappeared somewhere, like ran into the side of a road or like, I don't know, you know. Yeah. But obviously like eventually he was gonna get found out. That that apartment. Yeah. that nasty fucking apartment. That's a stinky. I can smell that apartment.
Yeah, Maniac. I listen, if you're into really nasty and graphic violence, I recommend Maniac. I think, look, the acting is phenomenal. There is, if you're into more of the gore fest and
some with a little bite. Yeah. Like, it's a sleazy one.
Yeah, it is definitely a stinky one.
It's stinky.
Yeah, you can smell the must on this one.
I just think, like, if you want something really, like, dark and methodical and like it's actually kind of thought about and not just like, and sure, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, like the screenplay is like this 4D chess and like it's saying like the story is crazy. It is kind of a loose collection of, sort of vignettes of violence and him with this woman. Yeah, but you can just tell there's so much thought to the detail. Yes. And I really like Joe Spinell's performance, and I think like it is a cut above a lot of the other ones. I give it like a good like 3.5.
I do not recommend this one. I know Austin recommends this one. It. But yeah, that's at
your own behest.
Yes, yeah. Proceed with caution. Proceed with caution. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. This is first episode of a 4-part series for the horror film Extravaganza, week 1 of slashers. Thank you so much for watching. This is our first time doing a filming episode.
Yeah, we were so excited to bring this to you guys.
Thank you so much to Billy for editing and cutting this up. Thank you so much for Ivana for helping us edit the audio.
Thank you.
And, to everybody who's listening and watching, we appreciate you guys. This is like, there's not a lot of us, but those who are watching, those who are listening, we appreciate you greatly, greatly. Let us know what you guys think about these movies. If you have watched these movies.
And any recommendations.
Yes, please shoot it our way. We've got more coming. We've got psychological horror. We've got body horror. We've got horror comedies. There's so much left in store for this month.
We got some good stuff.
Subscribe to our YouTube, subscribe to our podcast, wherever you listen to our podcast, and follow us on social media. Working Class Frame Rate on TikTok, Working Class Frame Rate on Instagram. I'm your co-host, Josue.
Austin.
And this is Working Class Frame Rate. We'll catch y'all on the next one.
Sayonara.
Peace.